Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the OPLegends Dan channel. My name is Wingless Dragon and welcome to another video to help with Neptune Prison. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, today we're going to discuss a mode that has been provided as of this season, and it's been pretty cool. And after a few weeks, they've kind of refined and showcased a few things that has been made available, and that is Rebirth. What is Rebirth? How do you rebirth? Should you rebirth? Do you want to rebirth?
Is that the ultimate question?
In this case, probably. But let's go over some of the key factors on this, go from beginning to end on all of this, and hopefully after you've understood how Rebirth works, this could probably add more fun to your experience on Neptune Prisons that knew that you could have since the reset of this season. But a quick breakdown of what Rebirth is basically you restart your enchantments, you get some points to help you boost, and the reason you would do this is to gain some rewards, to gain some bonuses, and to move even faster so you're not stuck at the same point of the mine. But let's get into more details with that, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a much better understanding of what Rebirth can offer you and if you should do it or not.
The answers might surprise you.
Now, what do you need to rebirth? Well, you need to be playing for a while, like a long while. The time doesn't matter, but what's important is your pickaxe. Now, why is this important? Well, you need to have every single one of your enchantments on your pickaxe maxed out. You'll see in this case, Scavenger seems to have a little bit more. We'll get into that a little bit later, but so long as the base level of your enchantments are maxed out, you will be ready to rebirth. That seems simple enough. You play for a while, you level up your enchants, you level up your mine, you move forward, and it's maxed out. Next step is going rebirth. You'll see that you've got 4 UI here that kind of determines if you're ready or not. The first one will explain if you can. And in this case, it'll stipulate that I have Rebirth that's available. If you don't, it'll show a red mark in here telling you that you're not able to. If you highlight the Rebirth info, Rebirthing allows you to give up your pickaxe progress to unlock a large selection of unlockable and multipliers. At the start of each week, you may receive bonus Rebirth points based on Rebirth top. You then get broken down the points that you've earned from rebirthing and the amounts that you've been given depending on the situation of each week. So if you're starting week 1 with this and rebirth is available, you're definitely gonna have 0, and you're most likely gonna be alongside other people trying to make their way up slowly right from the beginning. But after a week or two, you're gonna have other people that are gonna be making their way already higher than you, or maybe you are at the top, and then you'll see that every week there's gonna be a kind of reset or rebalance so that there's more challenges to come up if you're ahead, or if you're behind, that you'll get that push that you need to catch up against others that have already made it to the top. What is interesting though about Rebirth is that you'll be given points, and from that you'll be able to spend them at the point shop and have access to available enhancements and enchantments that'll help you with your progress moving forward even faster or at a better rate than you did originally. Now, if you've watched the video introducing how you should start your enchants, this might change things a little bit depending on where you spend your points on your character. What's also dependent, if you're someone who has an AFK account versus an active account, well, you might want to upgrade certain things differently than you would the other one. So we're going to go through the enchantments, kind of get an understanding of what they do, and from there we'll be able to have a better oversight on what you should do when you're progressing and wanting to move forward. Before even rebirthing, the first thing you should do, depending on if you've just started playing, is to check out the Rebirth shop, or more specifically, confirm if there are points already given to you right from the beginning. The reason for this is that every week, after a week has been completed, the server is going to review who is at the top with their current Rebirth, and then give everyone on the server a nominal amount of points that can help advance you ahead to the next point to catch up to some of the leaders in the server, so that you have a fighting chance on reaching them. This is designed fairly so that while it is not taking away from the leaders from all the efforts that they've done, but it is giving them a continued challenge that people might be able to come up and snatch their position, and they're gonna have to fight it to get it back. So it makes sure that it gets them a little bit more out of it than just, well, I'm ahead, don't know what to do now. So when you check Rebirth, you'll see that there's catch-up points, and that's always based off after a week's worth of gameplay and after they've done any payouts for that week. So after the first week, everyone was given 10 catch-up points. So you were able to spend that in the point shop to get any small advancements to help you out. After the second week, because there's so much growth already happening from a lot of the leading players, well, they ended up giving 70 points because of the huge lead that the leaders were at. So this has given loads of new players loads of choices in the shop to advance themselves, to make their way up there, as well as experiment a bit with which abilities might help them or not. So this is worth checking out. This also allows that if there's players that haven't started playing right from the get-go, it gives them a chance to enjoy Prisons while they're making their way up slowly and still have all of the fun and the enhancements that are being provided for the server. So if you've just started now, know that this will give you a great chance of not only understanding the Rebirth mode, but also even catching up and not feeling like you're left out of everything. So check it out, really worth it. But don't hesitate that if you're still needing help in just even starting, that there are videos like the enchantment video I have to help with those things out. Others are probably going to follow, so if you haven't subscribed, you should. More videos will come, and also you can join us during the live sessions and ask questions for all that help. Now let's keep going. Now, one thing that's really critical with Rebirth is that you are rewarded for it. If you take a look at Rebirth rewards, these are only given due to Rebirth and will not be given for free. But for example, you'll be given loads of Ultra Pep boxes, a T4 modifier box, relic keys, loot boxes, rank up currency, just to get you that edge up. But you'll see that you'll get it fairly often for the first 4. But then once you get to Rebirth 5, and when you have the auto activating orb boosters, dragon burst, and proc rate, that's when you really want to start moving your butt and pushing yourself to the next level. You're also given loot boxes to move yourself ahead as well, which can help you gain high tier items and really gain that momentum you need for your gameplay. This is a great way also to get items that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get because you would have to pay credits for. So this is just another way that just from grinding and effort, you get to have a chance of getting critical items that can help you move forward immensely and gain those lucrative items that are only existing for those that would have access to the loot box. Just those points alone are really worth it. And if you checked, this goes all the way to Rebirth 35, and I'm sure that once it gets closer to the other Rebirth levels, it's either going to be ready for the reset of the server, or what will most likely happen is they'll push it forward to maybe up to 50. At this time, people are around the 15-16 mark, but there's still loads to move forward on. So it'll all depend on how fast people are able to reach the higher numbers. And if you're ever curious of who's at the top, you can always do Rebirth top and see who's at the top at the time. Currently, the top player is at 18, with the 2 second and third players at 16. So there's still loads of growth for them as well, and that growth is also available for you. Now, what's the point of all this Rebirth? Why would you want to Rebirth other than resetting and doing things all over again? Well, here's the critical reason. Although you can get some of these points for free if you haven't Rebirthed yet, what you can do is set yourself up for success the next time you Rebirth, and you'll have various abilities that'll help you move yourself forward immensely at the next point, and you can also save up these points to get yourself even better enhancements so that things can just go faster and faster, and you can get the items that you want that is more sufficient. This could go from having more space for relics to having a chance to acquire a lot more beacons through additional multipliers. You might want extra capacity in your block pack so that you can store a lot more before selling. You can use Enchant Seeker, where if you start, you can get Dragon Burst through one of the other enchantments from Scavenger, which is not the usual function of it, and then other additional enchantments can be earned through Scavenger, which would not normally be available through Enchant Seeker as you progress forward with that. The next one is Enchanted Mastery, which gives you extras available in various enchantments that you have. So if you got the first one, you got an increase in Scavenger. The second one was for Greed. The third one is for Orb Greed, and so on. So the masteries can be a focus on that. You've got Experience Amplifier, which gives you the multiplier to get even more experience. or Experience Bargain, which gives you a discount on the Experience shop. Keymaster's Blessing gives you a chance to level up, chances of getting extra keys and additional keys as opposed to just the loot keys that you would get. Next one is adding additional modifying slots so that you have the ability to have even more modifiers from the modifier slots, but be reminded that these are removed unless you have another ability called Eternal Tuning, which makes sure that any modifiers are kept. Otherwise, you lose them completely. But this one's a high cost at 40 rebirth points, so you need to be mindful. Is this something that it's going to be worth it for you, or are you going to reset it often enough to get that advantage? So keep that as a note. Or Magicians allows you to have that multiplier to get even more orbs. This is fantastic, especially if you want to enchant things as fast as possible. Then you've got Piggy Bank. You want that extra money to get you ranked up faster. That'll be good because it'll get you more of the passive buffs as well slowly as you rank up. So this could be your focus as well, should you want to have a faster means of getting the money that you want through additional multipliers. Premium Parcel is also kind of crazy, where the supply drops can get you chance of not only getting additional higher premium items, but you can get all the way to getting free loot box keys and free SOTW loot boxes as well. So this can end up being a very crazy ability later for just these additional markups that you're gonna get. Quantum Cash giving you loads more robot inventory slot while you AFK with your robots. This is one of those things where maybe this is not something that's useful for an active account, but if you have an AFK account that you're able to use, or you're part of your team, your job is to be mostly the AFK member, well, these might be abilities that you'll want to focus on so that you can get as much items out of that as possible. Then you've got Relic Finder to get you the additional relic gems that you need for that to be unlocked, which can be very useful if you end up being the type of person that goes through those very quickly. So the next one is Robotic Expansion. That could get you the additional robot slots so that you have even more items coming through as fast as possible, which in tandem could work really well with Quantum Cash if you end up getting a lot more items very fast. So these ones tend to be abilities that are in tandem with each other. Then you have Supercharger. Looks like one of the rarer abilities. This one can get you proc rate multiplier, which can end up being very useful when you're really trying to go through the mine as fast as possible and want to trigger all your enchantments. However, very costly. This is one of the rarer ones to handle, and it's expensive already as well, since you'll need Enchanted Mastery at a higher level as well before even getting access to this. And lastly, you've got Treasure Hunter, which gets you advancements on more of your loot finder and key finders so that you can get even more keys much faster, which these can be very useful, especially if you're rebirthing very often. So between the Rebirth rewards and the Rebirth shop, this can really change the aspect of your game, not only from the enchantments, not only from the upgrades that you can get, but also just moving forward, getting things a lot faster and advancing yourself forward at a much faster pace. And as time goes on and as you upgrade those things, this can get you moving much faster, and you might feel that the first little instances of Rebirth is slow, but this will go a lot faster and a lot further later on once you've started advancing and putting your points in as much things as possible. But don't just buy things just for the sake of it because you have the points. If you see that there's something that's going to be useful later on, maybe wait for the next Rebirth, get that additional 10 points, and then move yourself forward. That's pretty much the long and short of everything regarding Rebirth. Loads of different strategies depending on what it is that you need to focus on, but basically go with the direction of what it is that's going to help you the most. But just a reminder, make sure that if you've made the decision to Rebirth, that you're going to have to go through all your enchantments and all your modifiers over again. So be mindful of that, but I do think that you're going to have a lot more fun. And if you've set up your mines or you've worked with a gang that has a set up mine as well, you'll be surprised you're probably going to be able to get ahead of it. Some tips that you can do is use keys, use loot boxes, and accumulate any of the things that can get you the points that you need to get the initial stuff started. And if you still follow the plan enchantment that's indicated to you from the last video that I provided, well, you might want to modify that a little bit more if it's going to get you bonus Orb Greed or bonus Dragon Burst or other ones depending on which enchantments that you've added, and Scavenger being at a much higher rate might be a lot more important. So that would be a slight modification of what I stated in that video, is that once you have those levels of modifiers added to it, then you might want to have that Scavenger continue to be leveled up in conjunction with Dragon Burst and Orb Greed. So take a look at that video. It'll give you a good starting example of what you need to do, but then with the Rebirth, it's a whole new level. Hope this has helped. Hope that gives you a better understanding of what Rebirth is about. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment, make sure to subscribe, join us in the live sessions. You can ask questions during that as well. You can also join our Discord channel. The link is in the description for that. And if you want to help out as well, you can join the server using my code wingless.oplegends.com instead of play.oplegends.com, and that just lets them know that, you know, you watch my videos and you like the content that I bring in, and that'll help me a lot without costing you anything at all. Subscribing's free as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful night, have yourselves a wonderful day, and good luck on your adventures on Neptune Prisons. I'm gonna stop that. Cool. Bye, everyone. Yeah.